Well, hello, and thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Jason. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about eBay's promoted listings. I'll explain why it could be beneficial for you, as well as give you a step-by-step guide on how you can set this up for listings in your store. I'll make sure to go through and explain the different ways that you can promote your items so that you promote in the best way possible for you and your store. As mentioned before, my name is Jason. I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and I create videos like this, videos to help others in their reselling journey. Whether you're someone who hasn't listed anything at all and wants to get started, to someone who's been selling for quite some time. With each of these videos, my whole goal is to help you either get off the ground or refine your business a little bit to make more sales. So I feature a lot of how-to videos, some what solds, and some general BOLOs, which also stands for be on the lookout items, just to help you know what to look for, what to source, what things are selling for, but also tips for your business. If you're new to me and my channel, first of all, welcome and thanks for watching. Feel free to click the subscribe button so that you can get more videos like this to help you in your business. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and let me show you exactly how to set up eBay's promoted listings on your store. Before I get into the step-by-step guide of how to promote, it's important that you understand why you'd want to promote and how it works so that you know to make the best choice for your store. When I started promoting my listings on eBay, I noticed a huge jump in sales. And because of that, I've promoted my listings ever since I first started. So what are promoted listings? If you don't understand the concept, let me explain it. First of all, you may notice when you do a quick eBay search that there are some listings that pop up at the top of a search result. And in that box, it says sponsored. These are eBay's promoted listings. The seller of those items are promoting those listings so that they'll pop up at the very top of the listing rather than having to scroll down several pages to find that listing. It's very advantageous for sellers to get their items seen so that they can increase their sales. Now, of course, eBay isn't going to offer this feature to sellers for free. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you in the percentage of that sale. So you can promote your items for as little as 1% all the way up to 100%. The higher promoted listing percentage that you select is going to result in a higher cost for that item. Let me just explain what that means. Let's say you have an item that you want to sell for $50. If you promote that listing at 10%, that means that 10% of the sales price, $50, is going to be taken out as a fee. So 10% of 50 would be $5, so your promoted listing fee for that item when it sells is $5. So obviously the higher percentage that you select, the higher you're going to pay as a fee. Now remember that you have other fees as well: shipping, your eBay selling fees, managed payment fees, your cost of goods sold. All of these reduce your margin on that item. So you don't want to set it too high or you'll be paying way too much in fees. But if you set it too low, you may not be making enough sales. So you kind of have to find that happy medium. And here's another thing I'd like to add. Just because you're running a campaign for promoted listings in your store doesn't mean that your item is going to sell as a promoted listing. So the higher percentage means the more that your item is going to be promoted. And the lower your percentage, obviously, the less likely it's going to be promoted as often. Let's take an example of someone who promotes their listing at 1% versus that person who promotes their listing at 10%. Now, obviously, that seller who promotes at 10% will be seeing 10 times the amount as a promoted listing than the seller who promotes at 1%. So just as a general rule, to help you understand this, the more you promote your listings, meaning the higher percent, the more your listings will pop up at the top of the page. But remember, you will pay for it. And this is where the science comes into trying to figure out what works best for you. What is the percent that yields more sales but doesn't cost you too much? Now, just because you're running a campaign on your store doesn't mean necessarily that your item is going to sell as a promoted listing. And the great thing about this is that you only pay when your item sells when it's being promoted. So though your whole store may have promoted listings, if it doesn't sell as a promoted listing, meaning it was just at the bottom in the search results and it wasn't being sponsored, then you don't pay the fee, which is great. You only pay on those items that sell when they're being promoted. So just know that even though you're promoting your listings, they won't always sell as promoted. So sometimes someone does a search result, your listing may be at the top, and other times it may not be. On those times when your listing is not being promoted, it can still be found in the search results, it just won't be at the top. So I hope that you're following along. I know that's a mouthful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me in the comments below and I'll do my best to explain it better. And then there's one more thing that I almost forgot before I jump on and show you how to do this. If you're generally keeping a strategy of pricing your items at the lower end of the market, meaning you price a little lower than a lot of your competition, you don't need to spend a lot on promoted listings because most people filter by price, by lowest price. So your items are already going to pop up at the top. If you're pricing on the higher end, you may need to promote a little more because if someone filters by price, your items are going to be closer to the bottom. So that's one key piece to remember when you're trying to decide how much do I spend on promoting. Another thing is this. If you're selling items that there aren't a lot of, meaning let's say there are 5 listings total and you're one of 5, you probably don't need to promote in that category because more than likely your item is going to be on the first page. So promoted listings wouldn't really help you in that way. But if you're selling in a category that has thousands of items, like let's take a Ralph Lauren shirt. If I do a search for that, there are going to be thousands of results, meaning I'm probably going to be lost somewhere on those bottom pages. So then I would need to promote to make sure that I get pushed up and seen. Since I'm a clothing seller, I typically know that I'm going to have to promote because there are just a lot of other clothing sellers out there. And clothing is something that gets saturated pretty quickly. So my rule of thumb is I promote everything, and I'll show you exactly what I do once we get to my computer. So now that I've tried to explain this to you in theory, let me show you how to set up your store so that you can promote your listings. Interestingly enough, I need to promote my items starting today. My promotion ended yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and show you real time me promoting my listings, what options I choose, and I'll explain to you the other options so that you get the best fit for your store. But let's go now right here and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do. So from my eBay Seller Hub home screen, I'm going to show you the listings that I have that need to be promoted. And if I scroll down and you see right here, it says promoted listings eligible 1289. And it's just basically telling me that none of them are being promoted right now. You can also see right here next to each listing that it says eligible to promote. So I can go through and promote one by one if I want by clicking that promote button and then just putting in the percentage that I want to promote. And that's an easy way to do that item by item. But if you want to bulk promote all of your listings, there's an easier way to do that. So let me show you that now. Let's go back to the Seller Hub. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over marketing, and then with the drop down, I'm going to click promoted listings. When I do that, this will bring me to the promoted listings page. And you can see at the top, it gives me just a general idea of how my promoted listings have been running in the past, what kind of sales boost they've been giving me. And I'm not going to go over all of these percentages with you, but that's just kind of a general idea to see how well your promoted listings are working. And then at the bottom, if you scroll down, you can see all of the promoted listing campaigns that I've run recently. So now let me take you through how to set up promoted listings for your eBay store with the bulk feature. So let's click on Create New Campaign here on the right. And what it's going to ask is, do you want to select certain individual listings or do you want to just select listings in bulk? If you're just wanting to do a few items at a time, I would suggest that you can do the select listings individually. So if you're doing like 10 to 20 items. But if you're doing more than that, I would say that's going to be very time consuming to go through individually and select those. And I would just go through and select listings in bulk. So I'll go ahead and do that, select that. And then what you can see is I can select all of the listings in my store that are eligible to promote, or I can go through and select certain categories. So you can create different promoted listings for different categories in your store. Usually what I do is just select all and I just promote all of them at the same time. So I'm going to select all, and that's going to get all the listings in my store. I'm going to click continue. All right, so when you come to this page, you can see 4 options here. And that first one is a very simple one. It's eBay's suggested ad rate. So based on the category that your item is listed in, eBay will go in and see what rate is trending. Let's say that 6% is trending for a certain item. You can set your promoted listing to the ad rate and it will keep up with what others in general are doing. So if it's 6%, it will go ahead and set that promoted at 6%. Now, if you're promoting several items across a wide range of categories, it will set each of those items to the trending ad rate based on the category that it's in. So if your listings are in different categories, you're going to have a lot of different promoted listing rates based on the category that it's in. This is a great way if you're just wanting to keep on par with what the market is doing, what other sellers are listing promoted at, and you want to do the same as them. You just go in and click this apply suggested ad rate and then move on to the next step, and it will do that for you. This next feature, the second one down, is adjust the suggested ad rate. This is the one that I usually use for my store. So if you come in here, you can click adjust the suggested ad rate. And this first box will tell you that you can set your listings to promote above or below the suggested ad rate. So let's just take that example that I mentioned before. If an item is trending at 6% as a promoted listing rate, then you can come in here and either bump it up by, let's say, 1% over or 2% under, however you want to do it. So if you want to be at 1% more than what everyone else is trending at and get promoted a little more than others, you can set it at 1% more. Or if you don't want to promote for that much and you're saying, I would like to set it at 2% under, you can come in here and bump it down to 2% under, which means for those items that are trending at 6%, it's going to promote your listing at 4%. For my listings, I usually leave that at 0. I usually just go with the trending rate. And then this next box allows you to set a maximum. So some categories have a trending rate of like 12%. And for me, that's just too much. I don't want to promote my items at 12%. So I will set mine at the trending rate and leave this first box as 0 because I don't want to be above or below the trending rate. I want to be right on it. And then I will set an ad cap of 7%. And what that means is eBay will go in and promote all of my listings at the trending rate, but it will not exceed 7%. Now you can set this to whatever you want. That's what I do, and I'm a clothing seller, but let me explain these other two options as well. If all of this sounds really complicated and you just want to do a very simple way to promote your listings, you can go in and just set one rate for all of your listings. So let's just say you're like, hey, I've never done this before. I just want to kind of do this on a trial basis and see how my items are selling. You can come in here, select the third option, which is apply a single ad rate, and then you can put a certain rate for all of your items. It doesn't matter what it is, it's going to be set at that rate. So let's say you want 3%. You click the bubble, and then you type in the 3%. And all of your listings will be promoted at 3%. This is a great way to start off if you're just trying to get your feet wet and just figure out how this works. You may want to just promote at a lesser amount, maybe to boost sales, but you don't want to go up to 7, 8, 10% because you're not sure how all this works. And let me suggest that maybe some of you out there do this option first, test it out for a week, see how it goes, and then you can kind of tweak it based on what works for you. And then lastly, if you select this last bubble, you can set individual ad rates by uploading a CSV file. Now, I don't really do this. I've never done this, so I don't really know how to explain it the best to you, but sometimes this is faster to go in, create some kind of Excel spreadsheet with all the rates that you want and upload here. I'm guessing if you're watching this video that you probably just want something very simple. But just know that the option is there that if you do want to upload a CSV or an Excel file and upload individual rates per listing, you can do that as well. All right, so I'm going to go through to the next step and just show you what I'm going to do to promote my listings based on how I do it. So I'm going to set it at the suggested ad rate. I'm going to set at 0, meaning it's going to be at the trending rate, and I'm going to do a cap of 7%. I don't want my items to be promoted more than 7%. I'll click continue. At the very top of this, on this next page, you can see it says name your campaign and launch it. So it's showing me that 1,288 listings are eligible to promote. And I'm just going to label this new campaign, ad rate plus 0, cap 7%. You can name this whatever helps you remember what this is. That's just what I do to show me exactly which promoted listing campaign I did. Then I'll scroll down and click launch. And it shows me that this has gone through and the confirmation is right there at the top. We're now creating a new campaign. Your ads will appear on eBay within a few hours and will run until you cancel your campaign. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom, it shows me all of my active and expired campaigns. And this first one at the top is the one that I just created. And you can see it says pending. Once this is active, that pending status will change to active. In the same day, you should start to notice that your items are active. So I've just refreshed my page and my listings are now being promoted. It shows as active. So you can see in this column right here, it's active. Started on November 23rd. 1,288 listings are being promoted. Once I start to make sales on these promoted listings, this impressions, clicks, sold, and total sales and ad fees will start to populate with those stats. Now, if you're just doing this for a trial, say you're just wanting to run this for a week to see how it goes, then you'll want to come into here on this continuous and click it. Because as of right now, if I don't do anything, my promoted listings are going to run basically nonstop because I've got it set to continuous. But if I want this to stop, let's say in a week, I will come in here and select the day that I want it to end. And let's say I choose the 30th and I click save. Now you can see that this will run from November 23rd to the 30th. And on the 30th, all of my listings will stop being promoted that I have in this campaign. Now, if we go back to my active listings, you can see that all of them are updated. So in this column, promoted listings, you can see here it says suggested ad rate 6.5%, and my ad rate is 6.5%. If you look at this third one down, you can see the suggested ad rate is 7.9%, but because I set my cap at 7%, my ad rate on this one is only 7. So therefore, it's a little below what the ad rate is for that category. Now keep in mind that the trending ad rate continues to fluctuate. It goes up and down based on actively what people are doing when they're creating listings. So when you come back, you may notice that your ad rate is 6.8%, but the trending is 7.2. And that is going to happen because as people continue to list things, that trending ad rate is going to go up or down based on what they do. So once I set my promoted listing campaign, let's say this one's running for a week, I won't touch it again until I go in and do a new campaign. I'll let it go, and if the trending ad rate goes up or down, it doesn't bother me. I just leave what the rate I have set in there to what it is. So hopefully now that you've seen this guide, this will help you and be a great tool and resource to help you promote your listings in your store. As mentioned before, if you have any questions, please reach out in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great week. Until next time, bye.